Look at, this is what the spine looks like.
Yeah.
And that's actually what a ridge that is in the meniscus of the spine. And in the middle, of course, is the pulp. Now, let me just take this spine and cut it in half and show you two people who have spines that are very different. This is a spine that I've cut and peeled at. Okay? Oh, please.
I'm just taking it.
You can squeeze it, right?
Wow, it's like a rib.
Like a rib.
Yeah.
Now,
You're eating, rib.
that's a normal spine. Like a normal rib.
Yeah.
What you'd expect to see
Well, that's a spine
in a restaurant.
from a person.
For a person.
Okay.
Now this is the osteoporotic bone. Now I want you to take this, I want everyone to see this. I want you to take it and I want you to break it.
To break this?
Break it.
Okay.
Doesn't take much.
Wow.
Doesn't take much. This is what happens in osteoporosis. When we talk about getting frail, these little bone pieces here that make up the spinal column will collapse, giving you a hump, the dowager's hump.
Yeah.
That's why people get shorter and shorter and shorter as they move, and then they can't get the kind of fullness in life, and that's why you don't want to look like that. But it doesn't have to be, because this bone is from someone who's older than this one was from.
Really?
And you have that control if you take action.
All right. What was the result of our audience, first of all?
Well, 74% of you are normal, but 26% of you have osteopenia. Nobody, thankfully, had osteoporosis. So you're all doing a reasonable job. But the osteopenia, especially because a lot of you are young, is going to translate to osteoporosis as you get older. So what do you do about it? Step number one, you got to lift weights. It's critically important. We look at the societies that live the longest on the planet.
Yes.
Right? And there are three of them, right? Okinawa, Sardinia, and Costa Rica. Three longest lived societies. They have different foods, different cultures, they behave differently towards each other. But they share one common characteristic. Every day they get up, they go up to the top of the mountain, they grab the bucket, fill it with water, and they cart it back down again, right? Every single day. It's not a workout, it's life. By keeping your bones strong, by lifting weights, you get there. Number two, you gotta avoid too much alcohol and too much cigarettes, especially when you're young, because the process starts when you're 20 years of age. And the last thing, this is a problem that we have all over America. And by the way, it's my favorite vitamin, is vitamin D. 87% of people who live in Chicago or older have vitamin D deficiency. We think it may be responsible for a lot of the cancers in this country. If you have multiple sclerosis, you ought to be taking vitamin D. A lot of the things that we link up to how much sun touches our body result in the fact we don't have enough vitamin D. And so getting the vitamin
Well,
D3...
apparently my whole staff is vitamin D deficient.
Yeah.
Because we don't get out.
You don't get out.
No, really, literally. We don't get out. We don't get out.
If you live north of Atlanta, you really need to be cautious about your vitamin D level, and if you're not sure, take it. Now, just a little bit of math here. If you sit in the sun for 15 minutes, which is what most folks ought to do, direct sunlight for 15 minutes, you'll make 10,000 units of vitamin D. D3, the good kind, the one you really want. You can't get anything close to that unless you take supplements. But for a lot of Americans, since they can't get into the sun as much as they need to take vitamin D3. And as I mentioned, it's a dramatic impact on so many different walks of life, including autoimmune diseases.
Okay, so this brings up the question of what vitamin should we be taking? For me, vitamin D3, because I'm in Chicago and I don't get much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you want to avoid all the things that come along with it. So the A, B, C, D, E's of vitamins.
A, B, C, D, E.
Okay, so vitamin A,
Yeah.
vitamin C, and vitamin E are the antioxidant vitamins.
Okay.
These are the ones that are critically important in keeping our membranes healthy. Now,
So think ACE.
ACE, good.
Yeah.
ACE,
Okay.
ACE. Now, the brains of a cell are not where the genes are. Right? It's not the nucleus. The brains of the cell is the membrane. The cell membrane lets us talk to each other.
Okay.
I can see you there, and I can see that I want to be with you, or I want to be close to you. If we don't have the right amount of antioxidants, we don't have the right kind of fats in our diet, then we don't actually allow that membrane to maintain its healty structure.
Bottom line, A, C, and E.
Yes. The two other vitamins you got to worry about. D I covered.
D.
My favorite.
Okay.
And the last one is B. Right. So A, B, C, D, E, all of them. B vitamin is the metabolic boosting vitamin. It's the vitamin that's present in so many leafy vegetables, all the foods that are precious to us. Most of us don't get anything close to what we need, in part because our food supply has changed, and we're not eating what we could. So taking vitamin B is something that makes sense. So A, B, C, D, E. Take it any way you wish, but you need to get those 5 vitamins.
So, do you guys have any questions for us? Rich.
So what's the function of, yes, substance you mentioned before, calcitonin and biphosphonate. So what's the function of calcitonin and biphosphonate?
Calcitonin is a natural occurring hormone that is produced by our bodies to regulate calcium levels in our blood. So if our calcium levels are too low in our blood, calcitonin will be produced, so it will raise the calcium level in our blood. Biphosphonate is a type of drug that are used to prevent the loss of bone mineral density. Any more questions?
So Chelsea mentioned that the cost for bone marrow, bone marrow something treatment costs $14 billion US. That will indicate that there's only one person in Indonesia that can afford that. Is there any alternative treatment for osteoporosis?
Jangan sampai kena.
So actually there's like so many other treatments that we can use to treat osteoporosis, but the bone marrow transplantation is only the permanent cure. If you guys want more cheaper treatment, you could use hormone therapy by injecting yourself estrogen, because estrogen plays a role in protecting your bones. Aldrich, that's why we make this presentation as a prevention, not as a cure.
You mentioned that the treatment for osteoporosis is estrogen hormone injection, right? Will that affect the masculinity of us men? Because us men just because there's our case of men having osteoporosis, what is the alternative treatment for men that have osteoporosis, even though it's rare?
Actually, estrogen can be treated for men too, but
maksudnya kalau misalnya maksudnya kan we have more testosterone, nanti kita jadi kecewa-kecewa lagi banci kan?
Okay, nice question. I think when man uses Aldrich, the estrogen injected to man will not be that much, so you will not become a girl. Questions anymore?
Come over. Hey.
Please stand up.
Gini lagi.
You said that there's a treatment for osteoporosis is bone marrow transplant.
That's the
Permanent cure. But I've seen like some people claiming that there are other types of other ways of curing osteoporosis. Is this truly effective or not?
Which cure? Which method?
I've heard about infrared exposure, UV light or something.
Oh, it's for increasing exposing yourself to sunlight and UV ray, and basically by exposing yourself, it could actually in our skin there's this vitamin D3, right? It could break down to vitamin D if we expose ourselves to sunlight. Therefore, maybe there's a chance for your bones to get stronger because of exposing yourself to sunlight or UV ray. It's not curing, but it's more to prevention.
what is the side effect if you drink the medicine like osteoporosis? Yeah, disappointment. And yeah, like so. And then by doing operation, there must be the side effect, right? What is the side effect?
Taking operations such as bone marrow transplant might cause you temporary pain in a specific region. And like when you break a bone and you do operation, you need to cut your skin and then you need to stitch it back. Wait, so just imagine when you have a new stitch, and there will be temporary pain, but the side effect is it will be marked permanently from the stitches.
That's right.
50-50 atau gimana?
It really depends on the doctors that carry this surgery. Okay, so this now.
Oh yeah, ada krilin. Average.
So, Edwin's question is.
Hey, average death rate.
What is the average death rate?
Ngapain lu mau apa?
When
Bone marrow.
we proceed bone marrow transplantation. Okay. Okay. It actually depends on the doctors who proceed the procedure of surgery, and it also depends on the people it depends on how the people could resist the pain. So when the people is stronger, they can resist more pain. So it really depends on the people and the doctor.